Good morning. Happy New Year. I'm going to show you today how I just made my home gym for 2010 using common materials that I bought at Home Depot. For the most part, there is one thing here that I had to get at a climbing store like REI, someplace that specializes in rock climbing equipment or outdoor equipment, and that is a prusik loop. So first of all, you don't need this much line, but I bought 100-foot length of nylon rope from Home Depot, and the only reason I bought that much is it was $10 for 100 feet, and I figured whatever I have left over, and this is the leftover after I made the equipment, you know, I'll be able to put it to use somewhere else. So it's just a standard nylon cable. And like I said, this 100 feet was about 10 bucks. So I'm going to put that aside because that's not needed any longer. The first cut I did was about a 15-foot length of that same material. So I cut it, and then I used plain old electrical tape just to tape off the edges because they tend to fray and get puffy. So on all of my lengths of rope, I taped off the edges like this using just a standard knife to cut the lengths and to cut the electrical tape. So this is all you need: the rope, the tape, a knife, a tape measure. You will need some kind of a saw, like a hacksaw, which you can get for about $5 if you don't already have one. I have a circular saw that I used, and that worked great. So the first length of rope gets cut to about 15 feet. Then there's two shorter lengths of rope. Both are cut with the edges taped off. You might not want to tape these edges off right away. You might want to hold off on that until we get to the next step. So these, I wasn't exact in measuring them any particular length. I just made it what looked right for the job. So I'll just measure it for you right now. It looks like these are about 57.5 inches. So that, 58-inch length is fine. So one length of 15 feet, two lengths of 58 inches each. The next thing I have is PVC tubing. And this you can get at any Home Depot. It's 1 1/4 inch in the plumbing section. And then 2 elbow joints for each end, and you simply fit these together, the tubing to the joints, just like this. And you have to buy, with PVC, you have to buy, I don't know, an 8 or 10 foot length of this. You can't buy it in lengths this short. So I bought a long length of this, and I think it was about $3 for the whole thing. And then I cut this down to 10 inches. I would say anywhere between 8 and 10 inches length is going to be sufficient, and then the elbow joints go on like this. Then I take my 58-inch lengths of rope and feed it through. And the reason I said you might want to hold off on the tape here is it's much easier to feed this through if the tape is not on there. And then, once it's through, tape off the edges. That's what I would do if I had it to do again. That's actually what I did do when I first put this together, but then I had to take it apart in order to make this video and show you guys how I did it. But it's still not that hard, as you can see, to feed it through. If you do put the tape on first, you might just have to curl this a little bit to make it through the elbow joints, and then you're good to go. Now, leave these open. We're not going to tie these off just yet because they're going to have to go through a loop first before we tie them off. Now, the next thing I have are 2 prefabricated loops. These straps are looped and sewn together. I don't know if you can see that stitching, but it's very heavy-duty sewing job to get those together. This I got at REI. Each one of these was about $5. So the name on these is Metolius, Metolius. These are straps, and I got these because they were cheaper and I was experimenting with this. They also make a prefabricated prusik loop, and what we're going to use this for is to tie what's called a prusik knot. It's a kind of a hitch knot, but the prusik loops are not straps, they're ropes. And the rope has a little bit more texture and a little bit more bite to it. They were more expensive. I think it was about $15. No, they were $20. So they were twice as expensive. It would cost $20 for a pair of prusik loops at REI. So I got the straps instead. At some point I may upgrade and go back to the loops just because I think that they're a little bit easier to work with now that I kind of have a sense of what I'm doing with this. And the last thing, and this is optional, I got this to have a little variety, but you definitely don't need it. It's just an oak dowel. It's 1 1/4 inch by 36 inches. If you want more variety, you might want to get one that's 48 inches so you have a little more length, a 4-foot one. But 36 inches is fine. Mine is sanded oak. I actually got this at Lowe's, not Home Depot, but they have those there as well. You might get oak instead of pine or something that's a little more pliable. You want this to be rigid. Now, the first thing we're going to do is tie what's called a prusik knot. Prusik, I think it's P-R-U-S-I-K. There may be 2 S's, P-R-U-S-S-I-K. If you go to YouTube and you type in a search, how to tie a prusik loop or a prusik knot, there's tons of videos. It's not hard. I'm not sure if my camera is going to pick up this detail well enough to show you, but super, super easy. You take one of your loops and you take one of your ends of the long 15-foot length of rope. You just hold it so that the rope is cradled in the knot. Now you're going to take either the knot end or the sewed end here, and you're just going to feed it through and make a loop. Just like that. So it's like a slip or a loop. Now, you're just going to feed it through 2 more times. So around again, up and through. That's 2 times. Around again, up and through. That's 3 times. And that is a prusik knot. Now, why is that important? Because this does 2 things. Number 1, when you get it really tight, and it takes a little bit of time to get it cinched down tight enough, you want to have all these loops going through here spread out across more surface area of your rope. Not all bunched up together, and you can't have any twists in this. They have to be flat surface in contact with the rope. Now when I really give this a tug and pull it through, it does 2 things. Number 1, when the rope is hanging, you can put your body weight on this and it won't slide. Number 2, when you loosen it up a little bit, it will slide up or down. So eventually what we're going to do is have this length of rope hanging up over some framing, some rafters, or if you're at a playground, the swing set or a jungle gym, you know, it's going to be hanging from the air. If you're doing this inside, you can get a chin-up bar that goes in a door frame and hang it over that. You won't have the full complement of exercises, but you'll still be able to do some of them. So the prusik knot gives us versatility in terms of raising everything up high to do pull-ups, swings, hanging, putting it down low to do things like push-ups or lateral pulls or rows. So that's the prusik loop. Now,